we are moving on it now. So he'll tell you about the project and a little bit of how we got to where we are today, and then we're happy to answer questions and join Darren in a few.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for the opportunity to be here to talk about the Seminole Connector, State Route 452, formerly known as the 417 Sanford Airport Connector. Again, my name is Will Hawthorne. I serve as the Director of Transportation Planning and Policy at the Central Florida Expressway Authority, and I was the project manager for the Expressway Authority on this project in the PD&E study. So this slide kind of summarizes the corridor history that Darren and Michelle touched on. The idea of this corridor or a connection of this type has been around since 2003, going back 23 years. It's looked into various different forms, going all the way out to 95, like Michelle said. It's also been looked at some other smaller truncated versions of it, which brings us up to today. The PD&E study we just wrapped up was the pretty much a connection between 417 and Red Cleveland and East Lake Mary Boulevard. So this slide, hopefully it will work. Okay, so this will loop a few times, and the purpose of this is to kind of give you an idea of the growth that has happened since the idea of this connection has been around. And if you look at Sanford Avenue, points east, you can see the numerous residential developments north of 46, the extension of East Lake Mary Boulevard, and the developments that came around as a result. So that's kind of the purpose and need of this, why we did the study in the first place. You can see it's a rapidly growing area, and opportunities for a connector like this are closing with every day. So before we get into the project benefits, I want to give you an idea of what the regional picture looks like. And what that starts off with is by our horizon year for this study was 2050. And by 2050, Seminole County is going to grow by another 21%. Additionally, when we kicked off the study in 2024, just in the study area, kind of the picture you see here, there were 10 developments either in the works for entitlements or actually being constructed. And that's a very high density for something this small, for this small of an area. And then that combined with the growth at the airport, in less than 15 years, they're projected to double in size. And last but not least, with all of that growth comes the traffic. And for example, the traffic at the airport entrance is expected to almost double by the year 2050. And on East Lake Mary Boulevard, that's expected to increase by 50%, which is roughly another 12,000 cars by the year 2050. Which brings us to the project benefits of the State Route 452 Seminole Connector. This project would divert regional and airport traffic off of East Lake Mary Boulevard and off of Ronald Reagan Boulevard, reducing congestion on local streets. It also creates a direct access into the airport for passengers, employees, and airport logistics. It fills a regional need for network continuity, and it also provides an alternate route for emergency response and even emergency evacuations. And lastly, freight is a big component of the Sanford International Airport. This would provide them pretty much unimpeded access into and out of the airport to and from points to the south. This slide is a little hard to see, but basically what it summarizes are the signal operations, or the intersection operations from State Route 417 all the way over to Red Cleveland Boulevard, and even one signal beyond. In the year 2050, in the callouts, you'll see the letters. Anything above a D is unacceptable, or very long or extremely long delays at an intersection. Much of those are at an E or an F. Now, with this project, on the left is the AM peak hour, and on the right is the afternoon traffic, or the PM peak hour. With this project, you see improvements in times of 48 to 78%. Now, that doesn't take every intersection from an F to a B or a D, but that's just this project benefit alone. That doesn't consider any other local improvements on East Lake Mary Boulevard, Ronald Reagan, or other things. That's just how this project benefits this relatively small corridor. Now, what we're building, this is not a full expressway or a typical expressway that CFX would build, 4 lanes in each direction, 70 miles an hour. This is a reduced typical. It's 150 feet wide. The design speed is 45 miles an hour, and it would be posted at 45 miles an hour. Also, what you see here, the outer width, or the fence on each side, that's essentially the max width we would ever need. We've designed this so that we can widen to the inside if we ever needed 4 lanes total, 2 in each direction. That can be accommodated in the median that you see here. So for the general corridor, there would be no more right-of-way acquisitions needed once this gets into design. Project costs are split up into 4 main categories. We've got the construction, engineering, and the utility relocation, right-of-ways, and even the mitigations, all totaling about $200 million. And then again, this is the alignment with the projected toll revenues of about $48 million over a 40-year bondable period. And then we take that and we back it into the project costs. And you can see the viability shortfall that we had in October, which was 24%. Once our board approved that preferred alternative, it wasn't long after that Seminole County reached out to us and talked about this interlocal agreement, which has brought that viability up to where we can move it forward as a project. And we even put it into our 5-year work plan, as Michelle said. Now, I'll give you, this slide combines some of the interlocal deadlines as well as the project deadlines. As I said earlier, we are going to advertise right at a month from now. May 11th, I believe, is the date. We'll put that out for an engineering and design consultant, and that'll go to our October board this year, and we'll start design the very next month. And then from there, we'll work our way towards construction. And those are our deadline dates. We have dates that we're going to endeavor to beat. We're looking to have this open around 2031, 2032, but we have those dates to kind of provide us some insurance with regards to permitting. So it is something that is kind of a top priority, especially in Seminole County, and this is the project milestone that we have right now. Darren, do you have anything else? Or so?
Thanks, Will. All right, thank you, Will. We go to the next slide. Thank you. So what are the benefits of the connector? And just as I alluded to in the beginning of the presentation, again, I don't have to tell you what's happening at this Sanford Airport. A lot of activities going on there. A few companies are interested in moving there. Our Boomba Sports Complex already, as you know, drives a lot of visitors and the tourism economy. Our proposed indoor sports facility, we're planned that as it moves forward, will be complete in 3 years as the project moves forward. And then what you all are doing down on the East Lake Mary Boulevard with your growth with the residential and commercial properties along that corridor. And we just got these numbers in not too long ago with our indoor sports facility. This is what the additional on the East Lake Mary Boulevard will host, if you will. That indoor sports complex is looking to have over 300,000 annual visitors come to that facility. We're looking at it to be about 150,000 square feet. It's going to have about 12 basketball courts. You can convert that into 22 volleyball courts. Hopefully, we're working with the school board to host graduations at the facility as well. All those are talks are going on. 38,000 hotel room nights. And this is the big number. It's over $2 billion worth of long-term economic impact to the region, not only to the city of Sanford, to the county, but it's to the business owners here, both in the county and the city in Seminole County. So huge asset to us. So how does this work? And I call it the shared investment approach that our board would like us to venture on. As you saw, the total project cost from Will's presentation, Michelle's was $200 million. In their funding is $150 million of that, as you saw that with the PD&E study that just came out. The county commission, when we were looking to renew the fourth generation, the 1-cent sales tax, we actually earmarked $25 million into our new projects for transportation. We knew that there would be a gap somewhere in this, for this project. It wasn't like it was unknown. We knew that there would be a gap somehow, so we wanted to earmark some money for that. And so how do we make up the last 25 million? And so what I am doing is working with four of the cities here in Seminole County. Of course, you all, Lake Mary, Winter Springs, and Oviedo. And they're all over the next 2 weeks. I get to go and visit all the councils. So what it looks like, so what we're proposing with an interlocal agreement is, you know, the county commission last summer approved the 5-cent local option gas tax, the additional gas tax. Right now, you get the local option gas tax. We've had it for forever. That's distributed by a formula that the Department of Revenue at the state dictates. And then there's an option to add another 5 cents, and the Board of County Commissioners did that last year, and they had to do it by a supermajority vote, which they did. With that, so we have not, we just started receiving those revenues. They actually started collecting in January. Anyone knows, if you're in finance and local government, it usually takes a couple months before those revenues start coming in. So what our request is to look at the new money that you all will be getting in and sharing that with the county up to 10 years, and it may not be 10 years. And so the offer that we want to make sure is on the table, that as we look for other funding opportunities, grants, other things to that nature, that we will proportionately reduce the city's portion. The county's put in 25 million. We're going to keep 25 million. We're not going to reduce ours. In fact, we've already sent that to CFX already to move this process forward so they can go ahead and start with design. And so what we're asking the 4 cities is to enter into an interlocal agreement with the county for your additional local option gas tax up to 10 years, may not be, and we will, I believe, as Norton and I we've talked, we could do an annual report, or however, I can work out with the cities, is that as additional revenues come in, we can reduce that amount with the 4 participating cities as well. So that would be our request. And we are here to answer any questions that you have.
Okay. I've got several in there for both teams. Starting with CFX, has this been done before where there were local contributions to road building?
It's done a lot, yes, a lot. I mean, I could sit here and run off a bunch of projects. I mean, we've got a project right now with the county, with Osceola County. We just partnered with DOT. We partnered with the city of Orlando. We're about to, the county of Lake County has just done something, and it goes to our board in June. So transportation projects today, it takes partnerships to get things done. And it's, that's what we're about, is how can we meet the needs of our residents and visitors to our region with all of us working together. So this is common for us.
Okay.
Yes,
all
sir.
Right. Thank you. Darren, I don't know if it's Darren or not that will answer this one. Would this money be bonded, or since it's over time, to fund the project, or? And my follow-up question to that is, if it's being bonded,
we're not bonding specifically the contribution that the county has pledged to us. However, the way we work with our toll revenues, those dollars are bonded against.
Since this revenue would come in over 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Good question. So in the interlocal agreement we have with CFX, we immediately forwarded them 25 million for half the gap. In 2028, the other 25 million is needed to pay, and the county's willing to do that one as well, knowing that we will get reimbursed over the next 10 years.
Okay. And then in the studies, was anything done to look at how this will affect traffic on West Lake Mary Boulevard, west of 1792?
Traffic on West Lake, like west of 417?
West of 1792, out towards between 417 and I-4.
The model we have covers that our whole region. We didn't look at that specific area to see how it would improve. A lot of this traffic is going 2 points east and north, so kind of everything on East Lake Mary Boulevard, and then even up into Volusia County. So we'd be happy to take a look at that.
Well,
if
and
that's
I
something
just
that-
mentioned, because I've noticed there is a significant backup on Lake Mary
Yes.
Boulevard headed east from 1792.
And I've had
Because of the
conversations.
traffic at Ronald Reagan.
Yes, and I've had conversations with the city of Lake Mary, and that's why they're interested in this as well, because it definitely will relieve traffic going through West Lake Mary Boulevard through their town.
Okay, all right. That's my questions for now. I'll open it.
I think this might be a Darren question, and thanks for the information you've already provided us.
You're welcome.
So if I were an average citizen hearing this information, I think you're saying that this 5% additional gas tax, you are proposing the county, and then we city residents would be paying a portion of that through taxes.
Yes, through the gas tax,
So
right.
every citizen would be paying some additional money in gas tax for this connector, whether they ever use it or not.
No, so how gas tax works, it's a user tax. So if you pay it at the pump, basically, and so those monies then are, sent up, the taxes are sent up to Tallahassee, to the Department of Revenue, and by a distribution formula, they go back. So they come back to the counties, and so
But it's still paid at the pump,
correct,
whether
yes.
they're at a pump on
Correct.
on this road or not.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
and
you
so,
for that.
and visitors, anyone that's coming through our county pay, almost like, I use the same scenario as the 1 penny sales tax, is that, yes, our residents and business owners will pay, but also 30% of that gets paid from the 1 penny. It gets paid for people that don't live in Seminole County. So people come through our county every day in our cities to buy gas, so they'll be actually contributing to it as well.
Okay. And I think you might have already answered this question in other meetings, but again, for the sake of the people we represent, there were numerous options for this connector. There was a lot of discussion or comments about the fact, or not the fact that, but a lot of people would look at what's happened, where we are now, and say, you had public meetings, was it even worth going to the meetings because you all were going to do this anyway? I mean, that's the reality, we hear that. I hope, and I think this is what you and I were talking about, is that's what helped narrow it down to the route that we have now. But I also want to hear you say that you did consider the possibility that, given all of the feedback from the public, you discussed an option not to do this at all.
Absolutely, that was part of it, and they probably can walk through that process with you, CFX.
Yeah, so the
Because I look at
Preferred
that as kind of
alternative.
option 6. That really wasn't
Correct.
on any of the presentations.
Correct. So the preferred alternative, the project alignment that you have is something that we added in towards the end of the study. It was a refinement of alignment 2, which is where 2A, I don't know if it's labeled like that on your handout, but you're correct. It is something we got a lot of feedback. We went back to the drawing board, and we said, yeah, there is a better way. We can have less wetland impacts for those that go through this area. And we geared up. We had a new alternatives public meeting to compare that to what we were left with, which was 2. And that's what you have in front of you, which is 2A. So it was a refinement. We don't typically have 2 alternative workshops in a PD&E study that we do. We did on this study, and we still did it within right over a year. So it is something that we reacted to fast, and I was at the public meeting, and it's something that was a refinement. It was better across the board,
Okay.
taking in all the feedback.
We're still cutting through the middle of a 1800 built house, but I know you've talked to that resident about that.
Yeah, we did speak.
And there are plans to, it still breaks my heart that we've got 10 eagles nests. They're not all active, but there were 10 at one time in this area. There's other wildlife in there. So again, for the public who might hear this meeting, tell me again what you're going to do to try to mitigate that and help my
course.
heart a little.
So as part of the study, we do take a desktop assessment of eagles' nests. Most of them are located, there's a system online that you can pull their information. We took those, we put them into the the study area that we're looking at, and there is a potential nest that's close to the alignment. now that this is moving into design, we can go put boots on the ground, verify if it's active or not, and then we coordinate directly with FWC to see what permits they need versus what we're trying to do. They're the experts in this. We go to them and say, look, here's our plan. What do we need to do? And they will give us options of A, B, C, or D.
Okay. Do you have a specific contact at FWC yet, or will that come later?
We have one, I don't have it offhand, but we did have FWC representative as part of our environmental advisory group. So we've already started that coordination with them
Okay.
as part of this project.
All right. I think that's it.
Corridor.
Thank you.
Let me follow up on your line of questioning, and it's something we discussed when we met individually. Because our staff was very concerned about the wetlands impact as you come up to Lake Mary Boulevard, where it's going to be at grade or rather than elevated. What are the opportunities for having more of the road elevated to prevent the wetland impacts?
Now that we are moving into actual hard engineering and design, we can start to have more in-depth conversations with the county, with the city, to see what options there are to maybe reduce a bridge in some area that's not in a wetland, and maybe add that on into areas that are a wetland. When we're in a planning study, it's a very high-level study, so we had to make some assumptions. We've got a good amount of bridge in there now. But again, now that we're moving into that next phase, it's something that we can sit down with the Public Works Director at the Seminole County, and even your staff, to see what opportunities there are to help mitigate that.
And for you, either you or Michelle, have you ever had a project like this where you're at this phase now and you do your additional studies when it comes to wildlife conservation or flooding, things like that? Have you ever had a project where you've done all of those analyses and realized, we really don't have a solution to this, we might have to back off and not do this? Has that ever happened?
I don't think I mean, let me just say, Wekiva Parkway was probably one of the toughest projects we ever did.
Yep.
And we were successful at figuring out a way to meet both the environmental challenges and the connectivity challenges. So that would be the example that I would give to you.
Have you done studies on Wekiva Parkway since it's been there for a while now to see what the feedback's like?
From who?
The residents. You probably
Well,
don't really
I can
need to
tell
do
you
that.
that our traffic on that facility is beyond what we had initially thought that it would be.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, people seem to really like the parkway, find it useful. So,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Mr. Gray, my only concern with this is what is the next ask that the county's going to give us? You all are absorbing the cost of Sunrail, right?
Correct.
You're looking at building roads. You started the Scout program.
Correct.
If we help with this road, are you next going to come back and ask for money for Sunrail or Scout or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
No, not to my knowledge. I would say that I never want to say never about future partnerships. One of the discussions we had early on with all the city managers and myself when we just started our Scout program, our micro transit program, was actually to look at the 5-cent gas tax, the additional 5-cent gas tax for all of us to contribute, to help with the micro transit program. The county decided, it's like, no, let us take the leap, let us take the risk, see how this program works. I have talked to the cities and said that if you want to enhance the Scout program, micro transit, of course that will be a partnership if you ever want to do something like that, like you contribute to links now already. Right. That you won't have to do anymore, but it is not, I can't, there's nothing in my future right now that I say that I will come back to you and
okay.
ask.
Well, not to go too far off target here, but
Might not be.
the whole idea of going to Scout was savings, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what we were told?
Well, it was also ridership. Ridership, that was number one. Well, and if you don't mind me talking about this for 1 second, when I came to the county 3 years ago, we were paying a little over 7 million, oh, probably about 10 million at that time. But in 5 years, we went from 7 million to 17 million paying for links. And the ridership just didn't justify it. So we didn't even think about microtransit. We weren't even looking at that. It is something that as we started to explore ridership numbers, we thought, hey, here's another alternative that actually we can help more people and actually at a lesser cost. That was the whole mindset behind going into it. We've only been in this for 5 months now. There was a little overlap with links from October to December last year, but January is really where we did the full-fledged 100% microtransit. We still do have links in the southern part of the county in the Altamont area. But
That's
As of right now.
that's something I wanted to comment on. It's interesting that the richest city in the county, somehow the county kept links for them, but didn't for others. And our residents are suffering with this Scout program. But I understand there's more vehicles being added. I understand there's discussion, maybe we need to talk about that another time. But my fear is that costs are increasing in everything.
Yeah.
If we let go of what you're asking us to let go of here, I don't know if we're going to be able to offer anything else down the road, because we all are experiencing the exorbitant increase in cost to just do the services we're offering. And so that's my fear of letting go of this money, is what's down the road. So I'm going to take you at your word today that ask, it hasn't been discussed. And I'm comfortable with that, but I just know that none of this is getting cheaper. Sunrail's not going to be cheap.
Right.
Expanding Sunrail's not going to be cheap. Expanding our roads are not cheap. And none of this is easy anymore. So,
and you're right, and we're going to have to figure out a different partnerships. But yeah, that is not in any of my looking forward that I've looked at. I have talked to Norton and actually the mayor to talk about Scout, and within 4 months we had 100,000 riders with Scout countywide. Now, and I said we can break that down to your city, to stops, to streets. In fact, we're starting to work on that now. The mayor had requested that from me last week, so we're starting to work on that. I've also even said we'd be more than happy to come to this council to give you all a presentation on how Scout's working. We knew when this was new for us.
We like data.
We knew there was going to be some hiccups or some challenges, but I will tell you, the ridership that is on Scout now is 10 times as much as it was when we had a public transportation of links. And it wasn't because Altamont area was the richest city, it's that they had the most usage riders in that area. If we had the ridership up here, they would have kept the routes. It's just.
You mentioned something that neighborhood links.
Neighbor link.
That cost has now gone up on those riders, and that is our most vulnerable.
Oh, you're talking about paratransit?
Yeah.
Yes. And in fact, we're working right now with them to actually bring down that cost. We could possibly even have Scout take over our paratransit. That is we still pay. So Scout, Freebie, the company Freebie, the contract was over $5 million.
Okay.
We still pay $5 million for paratransit for Links to provide that service. So that hasn't changed. And in fact, Links just went to their microtransit system, their neighbor link. They just went to Freebie, the same company that we actually contracted with. But we'd be more than happy to come. We've got dashboards, we have data. It's like, and as I have spoken to Norton, your city manager, about, we can, if there are issues in the cities or something, we could change things up the way the city desires.
Well, my only concern at this point, because what's done is done, is the 2-hour wait times that I'm hearing from professionals that rely on that service. So that's what I want to see improved with the expansion of the fleet. And
I agree that, and those are happening in peak times, morning and evening.
Mhm.
It's starting to come down. We're adding, again, more vehicles. We've also put a time estimator on the app, so you could, if you need to go to somewhere, you can put in, to see if Scout is your ride of choice, and it can give you an estimation of when that vehicle would be available.
Okay.
And if I may, Commissioner Austin, that wasn't necessarily a big segue. And if I may read something, I'll tell you why. Transit advocates have long questioned the wisdom of adding more lanes to crowded interstates. They cite the concept of induced demand. A 2019 study suggested wider highways encourage more people to travel on the interstate as opposed to local roads, resulting in similar or greater levels of congestion over time. Instead, advocates have pushed for investment in public transit that could move cars off the road. Again, it's probably too late for that, but we're talking about Scout.
Mhm.
I could almost hypothetically see Scout saying, let's resolve this without cutting through with a big expressway.
And this 5-cent local gas tax, just say, there is restrictions to it. You can't use it for operations. I've had to get educated on it. It can only go for capital and transit facilities. We have
Well,
determined.
I think that's important for our media partners that are
Mhm.
blowing this up, to make sure that they're putting that message out there, that this isn't actual tax dollars that are in anybody's pockets currently,
Right,
and it's more of a user fee.
correct.
And so I think those are important discussions, much like the sports facility
Mhm.
is being paid with tourism tax
Correct.
dollars.
Correct.
I was a part of the initial startup of that discussion when I was chair of the TDC. And so I think a lot of this is lost upon our residents and our taxpayers
Mhm.
on where these dollars are coming from, how they can be used, and what they can be used for.
Right, right. Good point.
Anything, Commissioner Wiggins? Okay, then we'll come back down to this end. In terms of the funding, you're asking for the full amount the city gets for up to 10 years.
Up to 10 years, correct.
Of the new money.
Of the new money, yes, of the new money.
Now, I'm guessing, I already know the answer to this, but in your projections of how much this county will need to recoup, is the increase in revenue already calculated in, or is it based on first-year revenue?
It's based on the distribution formula that the state has given us, the Department of Revenue. They have a distribution formula, so, and that is based on your last 5 years of transportation expenditures. You're the biggest city in Seminole County. You have a lot of gas stations. They pump a lot of gas, so, and it's determined that way. There's a formula that does that. So your contribution is a little over $1 million a year. Could be up to 10 years, could be close to 11. However, like I had mentioned to you earlier, is that we may not need all of it. We are really, I have Tani O'Lory, our Public Works Director. Wait, Tani. Very big advocates known throughout the region in transportation, and we are going to be very aggressive going after grants. And our board has made the commitment to the 4 cities that if dollar for dollar we get these grants in, we will proportionately reduce your contribution in there. So our goal is not to take from the cities. However, if the county commission didn't allow this to happen last year, we wouldn't have this new revenue source either to help the region, and that's where the partnerships really come into play.
Okay, but does it come down to there's a certain dollar amount you need from the city of Sanford?
We just did what are the 4, we looked at the cities that really, and the region that's really going to contribute to this, and that's why we came to the four of you all. And actually, if we were brainstorming about additional revenue sources. Actually, I asked Stephen Norton, I said, what about your penny, that we got renewed? Is there, so gas tax wasn't even, it was just one of the many options that we looked at. And so we just looked at what that distribution was. That 4 cities does not make up the whole 25 million. We're
How
going to be
about
looking at.
Altamont? The traffic will get down there eventually.
Yeah, right. We're looking at mobility fees. We're looking at, again, grant opportunities. Michelle and Will, Glenn, and all of us have discussed over at CFX about there might be properties that we can swap for mitigation that could in lieu of funding too. So all those options are on the table. My job to me as the county manager is wanted to put together a plan to ensure that it's funded, that we're not, reacting at the last minute to figure out how we're going to, to make up that gap. So there is, I'm pretty much an optimistic person. I know that's strange in a county manager, city manager's job, but I think that, with all of us working together, we can find solutions. And I'll tell you, this team at CFX is beyond, I mean, they're great. We brainstorm all the time on how to make this project work. We know it's going to be needed. We know East Lake, Mary Boulevard, West Lake is going to be over capacity at some point. And what do we do then? Do we keep widening, the roadway? So this is an area that keeps our local roads to the locals as much as we possibly can, and it gets folks moving around the region as efficiently as possible.
Okay. And
And we're the first city you're coming to, then you're going to go to the other three, right?
Yes, I have the
Well, we're
next.
most important.
Yeah.
Almost.
And you're in my backyard. I live down the road. It's perfect.
Can I ask one more question of Michelle?
Sure.
It's Darren's fault I thought of this. I'm curious, and I don't know how to ask this to make it good for anybody that may listen to this at some point. The money CFX is putting into this road, is that based upon CFX projections to recuperate down the road from their fees they charge to the users? Does that make sense?
So, kind of, it does. So what we do is we say, this is how much this road is gonna cost us to build, how much revenue is gonna come in to help support that over a 30 to 40-year period of time.
Right.
Because we have to pay for the road
Right,
to be
so-
built.
so
Right,
you're-
so the road is $200 million.
Right.
And our guideline is, for our board, is that the revenues that we collect must be at least 50% within that 30 to 50. So yes,
Okay.
it does, that is what it's for.
Okay.
Now, I think, so yes, I'll just keep it
I
simple.
already asked if total revenue was way higher than expected. Do we get a?
Do we get a kickback?
No, we get better maintenance.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Prettier trees. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, and then, Mr. Mudpart, has our staff looked at any plans for this money?
We can always
In other
use
words, what
that.
are we,
Yeah,
do we
and,
have any specific projects that we would be giving up?
no,
Or had we not budgeted this in yet?
because as Darren indicated, this county just approved this last year, and we haven't started to receive it. The city hasn't started to receive it. So it's money that we haven't received. We're going to continue to receive what we have been receiving, but we wouldn't be getting the new taxes until the end of this period with 10 years or less.
Yeah, so it's my understanding, Mayor, and you know this, but I just want it voiced. It's my understanding, we have projects planned throughout the years based on the monies we have been getting.
Right.
And so,
My question was,
No, I know.
had they started planning
Right.
anything based
have
on
we,
this new
have we
revenue?
been spending it before we got it?
Right. And I assume if we go forward this, we're coming back with an interlocal.
Correct,
And
yes.
So I would like, from our staff, what do they see us giving up, or not really giving up because we don't have it yet. But what are there projects that they would be planning if this money was available?
Okay.
And you don't do a whole lot of road for that much money a year. So, but I would like, just a sense of what that is.
And I apologize for not meeting with you before this meeting, but most of my questions were gonna be asked anyway,
Yes.
again. And so I did not want to duplicate our efforts or time, so.
I put that out just as an offer, just so
No.
I know, like, as we managers, we want to make sure you're totally briefed, and so I
But-
don't hit
but
you
I-
cold
but I
at a
also-
meeting.
I also like to live the sunshine, and these discussions to be in the sunshine, so,
Absolutely.
just wanted that out there.
Agree.
And Mr. Johnson, I'll be more in favor of this if those improvements at Mellonville and Celery get done.
You mean the county?
No, that's our project.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I've been trying for this for 15 years. I just need like 2 lanes.
Well, we could talk about Villain Road too, but that will come later.
Okay. Absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, it's all right, we can work with the city attorney and prepare the
so you
interlocal
want your own expressway?
and bring it to you at a future commission meeting.
Yes, sir.
Opposite.
You know, I think if, this is one of those things where if we don't do this, the city and county are, the people living here in 20 years are really going to regret that we didn't have the foresight to do it.
Yeah.
Imagine if 417 had never been built.
Yeah.
What would traffic be like?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
No, it's a necessary evil.
Right.
To some. I wouldn't call it necessary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren, and Michelle,
Thank you.
and Will.
Need some more?
Do we know when that'll be coming back to us?
Huh?
We're looking at within 2 meetings.
Okay.
The water has bones?
After he's talked to all the other cities and has a sense of what
Yeah.
they're doing?
Yeah,
Well-
as I've told Norton, as soon as I will give you a play-by-play update as each one I go through, that
see
is
you in
my
a couple
commitment to you
weeks.
all. If
Yeah.
we're not all in together, we're not all in. That's my philosophy.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
for one, one for all.
That's right. Thanks.
Okay.
All right, moving on, the next item on the agenda is
Workflow.
city workflow, and with that, we have Ms. Elizabeth Jones.
Hello, Mayor and members of the commission. As you all know, when you met a few weeks ago for your Saturday work session, when you were setting your goals, one of the things identified in that meeting was outlining and identifying workflows to review, not only to have a visualization of the process it takes to get from start A to the very end of it, but also to allow us to find areas of improvement within those workflows. Everything has a workflow. Even answering an email technically has a workflow. So to go through every workflow in the city is a very large project. So that's why I started with first identifying all the workflows that primarily have a very public facing way of dealing with it, where a lot of them are interacting on via our website or other channels that we encourage either by phone or ways for our public and community to either sign up for services, request assistance, and so on. So I really wanted those to be the focal points when looking at our workflow processes at the beginning. It doesn't mean that there are some internal processes that have either already been mapped and are being worked on, or there's some that are already in the pipeline of we know that's next for us. But when it came to your goals as a commission, I wanted to focus on and hone in on the things that I think really speak to your constituents. But you know what you're looking for when it comes to your workflows. It's the goal that you all had set for yourselves and for us as city employees. So that's why that list was provided. But if there's anything you feel that's missing, I did already receive Commissioner Thomas's notes because I figured if we start with a small group, we can then meet, bring it to you all, see if that's what you're looking for, and then go from there as we move through the next workflow processes. That way we don't go like 30 deep and it's not quite what you're looking for.
Well, I think, and the commission can make sure I had the right understanding. We were talking about things that the public do,
Mhm.
and here is the step-by-step process to get it done. And then some of these would be something where you want a handout to give them. Some of them may just be simply put on the website. So, did I hear Commissioner Thomas has already suggested? the
She
Yes,
list?
she-
identified which processes, because I had asked for just, selecting of 5 that you
Mhm.
wanted to prioritize
Yeah.
first. So she had already selected her 5 that.
It was
she
good to
felt-
see this complete list, well, maybe not complete list, but the list you provided
Yes.
gives everybody a sense of how many processes there are
Oh,
that
and
need
the-
to be followed.
Yeah, the list is
This isn't all of them.
Yeah, because I tried to really focus on the primary, like I said, the ones that you see used the most and have the largest, I think, effect for our public.
Challenge.
Yeah. So,
So my thought process in looking at the list was try to spread it out in departments.
Yeah, I was trying to
And
cover
so-
departments. I did lean a little toward building and planning, of course, because that's where
Yeah.
we have the biggest challenges.
Okay, so I had either apply for a building permit or schedule a building inspection.
Yeah, we can pick one or the other.
Or, actually, I guess, the permit applications is really being looked at with the study they're doing right
Correct.
now, anyway, right?
yeah, and that's
So I'm
where
not sure
some of
that's-
them, same with the, I apologize, the golf cart registration. That's something that's already being reviewed and looked
Right.
at because we do know that that's a matter that we want to bring
Mhm.
attention to and resolve. So with that being said, some of these on here are already in a phase of being reviewed and considered and how to move forward, but I didn't want to not have it on the list and look like it's not something that needs to be addressed or made, public in that way that you were speaking earlier to. Mayor.
Okay.
You know, that's a good point, but I know so many people are anxious to see progress on the whole permitting process.
Correct, yeah. so
And
that's-
some visuals.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to make sure that it's on that list there, so that way it doesn't seem like it's not a priority or it's been forgotten about.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make
No,
sure
we know
that-
it's a priority.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that it was still front and present.
Okay.
So
And I was thinking about special events for recreation.
I had either special events or renting facilities,
Okay. Yeah,
I
those
had-
two were the ones I was thinking of. too.
signing up for utility service. I had applying for a job. I had vendor sign up. Actually, I had 6, not 5. And then I had 1 out of the building. I had originally picked golf cart and then I took that off because I know that one's in
It
process.
doesn't work.
So how does that fit with the rest of y'all?
Yeah, I like adding the job because that covers HR. And the one from utilities, signing up.
I had signing up for utility services.
Yeah, that would probably be good because that's for a brand-new person who's going to need more help anyway. What do you think, Commissioner Austin?
I like most of those suggestions other than the job part. I've never heard of a problem with our hiring process, so
Yeah, I haven't either.
I don't want us to,
I always get I applied and never heard anything back.
Well, that's typical.
But
No one
we
ever
could
does
say, we
anywhere.
could say that about everywhere.
Yeah.
And nobody sends you a thank you card for applying.
Hey, I used to when I was in that role.
I don't know, the only part about this that concerns me is just adding on additional work to staff. There are some metrics that we probably want to have and we need to see, but let's not
Yeah.
get too far into the weeds with this.
Right, and so that's why I like the idea of doing a few and working our way through it, not trying to get them all done at one time.
Right.
But, we've talked for years about, I can remember Commissioner Williams sitting up here, there should be a checklist. You can give the person a checklist and they can go through and check
Yeah.
things off as they do them.
And even when we list things, it's still difficult.
Well, for
so-
years and years and years, I was asking for a handout for HPB. I was asking for a handout on, how to get your permit done. So,
So we
Well,
do a
that's what this
few
is.
Yeah.
where the headaches are the biggest.
yeah.
Put it out there, give it time to settle in, and then start to compare and keep this list handy of, should we continue?
Right.
Because Patrick's right, we don't want to overload you with work that's not.
Correct, and full transparency, it's not, not every process will need to be, improved or refined.
Or
Sometimes,
over-engineered.
yeah, sometimes the way it works is efficient and takes care of it, and our resources could be used somewhere else. I fully agree with that. But putting it out and visualizing it does help you identify that, yes, this is the best way we can do it. And sometimes it does help you identify, small things that do cause big hiccups down the line. So it is something where I can't say that every single process that's presented or listed here needs, a grand overhaul. They might not need any really at all. But it does allow, to show the public, how to perform that process. And then it does also allow us the opportunity to identify if there is something that should be improved.
Right, but to me, what I thought was the bigger part of this was to have that document or webpage or whatever for the public. It wasn't meant to go through and redo all our workflows. It was to spell out what the workflow is to the citizen coming in and trying to use it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Citizen-faced
So-
processes only, and the ones that they struggle with.
Okay, so do we want to tell her which ones we want that to be?
Given that,
Thought you had a list. I agreed with it.
yeah, I still, building permit, building inspections, development plan review, that's probably more internal. So,
No, because the public has to do, sometimes there's a development
involved in
plan
that.
review that has to go
Yeah.
through.
permit applications, I just think the building and planning, we have to cover that. Not business.
You
license.
just threw me a curveball with a job application thing, that's all.
I'm sorry.
No, there are some
I mean, is there a
obvious.
document that says, here's the process that the city goes through if you apply for a job? Okay, but probably they don't know that it goes through HR and, has things done, and then only the ones that meet requirements are then sent to the department, and then the department does their own vetting. And let them know what that process is, so know what to expect. But maybe with the building and planning, we start with, and I would leave it up to them to just, what's the first big step? Okay, and then the next thing, and I think in our newest LDRs, we sort of put those in the order that they have to be done. Maybe that's the order we need to look at, putting documents together. And
Well- not
try to do them all at one time, but.
I know we used to have the group that you come before when you are trying to do a project. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Development review team?
The development review team. I never understood why we got rid of that. But I think what we're working towards here is kind of the same thing. This is what you're gonna need, this is what has to be done, this is where you're gonna be. Maybe this is a good follow-up to eliminating the development review team. Because I still have struggled the last couple of years since we got rid of that with some of these projects where there have been problems. I wonder if,
Well, I think that they still do sort of the meeting, they just don't call it a development review board because there was it was a sunshine law issue. So once you had a committee, you couldn't talk to each other.
well,
So, all right, so let planning and building sort of pick the order in which they think theirs should be done.
Yeah.
But go ahead and start on one with them,
yes.
right? Okay. And
Like right now,
then-
building permitting, you go to the building permitting page, and there's a lot of verbiage in there, and then it says, if you want submittal requirements, click on this link. Well, the link doesn't even work. So, I mean, you're stuck right there without even being able to go any further. So. And then you go into Citizen Serve, but you really don't know what's going to happen in Citizen Serve until you get there. So that's where I think before you log in, create the account, do all of that, we should have just kind of a pictorial workflow. Here are the steps you're going to go through. I'll
Okay.
just keep repeating myself.
All right, and is the next one the signing up for utility service?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. And then renting facilities or special events?
Special events.
Which one gets used more? Probably special events.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. And then vendor sign up or apply for a job.
Vendor sign up.
Under sign up, that would cover finance.
Okay. She wants one more.
Well, as you said, golf cart registration, we're already working on that.
I mean, if you want to do the rental facilities, that's not,
Double up on recreation.
What about the records requests
Huh?
for the city
what'd
clerk?
you say, Art?
So a double up on recreation.
Oh, that gives them two?
Yeah, I'll give them two.
Well, we don't want to overwork Jerry.
Oh.
He's sensitive.
The records request process is probably pretty simple.
Well, or maybe we put golf cart registration in there because they are working on it anyway.
It
and
is getting a lot of
that's-
attention.
It's a hot button.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
All right.
4.
Good?
Perfect. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, as always, Dr. Elizabeth.
Okay, and while we're on the sort of that subject, I sent out the notes with sort of the action items from our March 28th meeting. I don't know if anybody's had time to review them.
Yes.
I would say comments need to go to the clerk or the city manager, or we need to talk about it at the next work session. Next work session.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I would respectfully suggest that it be an item on the next work
Okay,
session.
let's do that.
The items that we're not doing, or did we already take it off?
No, this is the item regarding the March 28th work session.
Okay. Okay, good.
So-
Yeah, I just have maybe a couple of minor items.
Yeah,
so
and-
send them
and
to
then
the
we've
clerk
got to
and
figure out how do we make sure it gets done.
Right,
So,
the important
okay,
part.
all right.
Let's put it into a spreadsheet.
Okay, Senate Bill 1134.
Yeah, and I think upon further review, if it's okay, we'll table that to a later meeting until we know a little bit more about where we actually are with that legislation.
Great, thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
save a little time for our other topics.
Thank you.
It may be like some other things they do up there.
Magic could
Maybe the
happen,
courts will act swiftly.
or somebody will.
Okay, then Sanford Police Department.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, we're presenting department reports and presentations. You've had some from other departments, and this time it is from the police department. On Friday, the police department announced a number of promotions, and I'd like the chief to share with us some of the new captains and lieutenants, at least who they are.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, Ms. Green. The city manager kind of alluded to that last Friday we had an opportunity to promote three people on the department. Captain Francis, who was sitting in the back, was promoted to captain. Sergeant Smart was promoted to the rank of lieutenant, and our PIO, I think all of you have seen a lot of the work that Michael Hernandez has done. He was promoted to the rank of sergeant. We also had an opportunity to swear in 3 brand-new officers. All 3 of those officers were leaders in their class, including the team leader or the class leader, Officer Canardi, who was the team leader, one of the most improved when it came to fitness. He also won the highest award at the Seminole County, Seminole State Academy, which was the Robbie German Award, which was awarded to him. So 3 outstanding new officers who are going through the FTO program, essentially effective today. So as the city manager alluded to, it's our opportunity to get up and do a presentation. I believe that our annual report, which is about 45 pages long, was submitted to all of you for an opportunity to review. And I'm just going to do a quick overview of that information. So the beginning of it is in this situation. What we have is there's 3 sections that fall under a safe community. The primary one looks at reducing crime. The next one will be at traffic safety and utilizing technology. So our goal was and number 1 was to reduce crime by 1%, and we reduced crime. Crime was down by 10% within our community. Looking at our SROs, making sure that they conduct sweeps for drugs and guns in our schools. Crime scene or crime investigative section was to do 5 proactive events throughout the year to reduce Part 1 crimes. Our community relation unit utilized the facilities to use our trailer to make sure we got out and was in the community as much as we possibly could. The volunteer coordinator was, put in a position to do 2 of our citizens on patrol classes, but due to some people not really wanting to go out and drive, plus we had some issues with our cars, we're going to re-implement that for going into 2026. The second one dealt with traffic safety. One of our goals was to make sure that we did at least 1 DUI operations. That was met. The target was to do 5 traffic operations dealing with pedestrians, bicycles, motorists. One of the good things about this, we received a grant, so the overtime that we used to do this project was paid through grants and not in our overtime system. Our goal was to host at least 1 car seat belt, child seat installation event, but due to the classes being canceled, our officers did not have the opportunity to go through that training, and again, that goal is being pushed to 2026. Looking at the use of technology in the organization, as we see that it's important to continue to advance what we do, to enhance what we're doing, is to utilize the license plate readers, install and implement the flock camera systems. That goal was partially met. We got the flock cameras, but we also had some issues with regards to getting those cameras all installed. So that will be on our 2026. That will be a reflection of that. We purchased a solar AI trailer, which allows us to put that trailer into remote locations or into like parking lots or at special events where we have an opportunity to utilize that camera system. That camera system, again, it came in. We were waiting for some different parts and some technology and some training. So now that we have it, it should be up and operational now. So that will be in our 26 goals as well. What is that? So if you've gone to like Walmart and you see those cameras that are flashing the bright blue lights saying that you're being recorded, that's what we purchased. The drone program, looking at least 1 more drone pilot. We have now 4 pilots. We were able to purchase the virtual reality training simulator for our officers to utilize for virtual training at our facility. And one of the things that was important for our investigative unit was to look at some of the old cold case homicide cases that we have had. And based on new technology, we've been able to actually close one that had been on our books for quite some time. The second goal overall looks at fostering partnerships. The watch commanders organize and do a number of walk and talks throughout the city. That was matched and exceeded. Crime scene to engage in at least 3 community outreach presentations. That was exceeded. Deployed the community activity trailer at least 10 times during the course of the year. That was met and exceeded. Maintain community outreach. And I'm going to show you all of those numbers here in a moment where you get an idea of what the actual numbers look like. Looked at our social media, increasing our platform by 5%. We matched that, but what we realized is that there were some issues with dealing with X and Twitter.
Happy to see what you did there.
So we are moving to LinkedIn for a more analytical and professional look. Our PIO unit was put into place that they would create at least 1 public announcements during the course for each of the quarters. That was met. We did put on 3 volunteer programs. Again, this evening we have an opportunity to recognize a number of those volunteers. Community relations, do at least 1 community crime prevention event throughout the city in each of the districts. We had an opportunity to work with, again, each of the commissioners in those different areas throughout the city. Community relations unit to do at least 1 crime prevention based on targeting our seniors, and we have done a number of those throughout the course of the year. Our third goal deals with dealing with our people internally and development and wellness. Our training unit, training and recruiting, conduct the wellness and coaching training for our members. our neighborhood response unit, and criminal I get that always messed up, CIS, will conduct the lease investigations looking into homicides, re-implement our fitness program for those who are looking to be promoted within the organization, our peer support program, which allows our officers to do peer-to-peer and making sure that we have at least one employee event. We usually do 2 or 3 during the course of the year. And the Wellness Committee put together and organized a number of participations where we do a great deal of fitness within the organization and different programs. We've done the Melissa Run, we've done the Special Olympics Run here just actually about 2 weeks ago. So one of the things we look at where the Part 1 crimes are, if you look at larcenies, larcenies kind of cover a lot of things within our community. We look at pickpockets, purse snatchings. The one that just continues to plague us is the shoplifting. What we have done is work with the county and some of our other organizations in an attempt to try to reduce the number of shoplifting events. Our biggest concern with shoplifting has been our big box stores. We're there every day, multiple times a day, and then we've come to realize over the past couple of months that there are some new protection people who are in place who are really pushing out, making sure that the arrests are done. Motor vehicle thefts are about 6% of ours, 1% with robberies. One thing we really can't prevent is the aggravated assaults. A lot of that kind of falls within the domestic area in those areas. Burglaries, when you'll actually see the numbers are actually down. And the other one's dealing with, fondling and rape, and we had 4 homicides last year. All 4 of those homicides have been cleared by arrest.
Steve, what's the difference between burglary and robbery?
Burglary and robbery. Burglary is if I kind of broke into your house. Robbery is if I told you, give me your money, and essentially took your money from you. What we did was we looked at trends over the past 10 years, and actually it goes back a little further, back to 2013, but we looked at the past 10 years of trends of crime, noticing that in 2016, our Part 1 crimes were over 3,300, and going into 2025, we're down to 1,700. One of the things I will tell you to take a look at is if you look at every 3 years, there's kind of like a little bit of a dip. We kind of anticipate for 2026 that trend will continue, that we'll have a number of years where it will go down and then it'll tick back up and then it'll go back down again. So this is just a depiction so that you get an idea of where we are, where we have been over the past 10 years. When people talk about issues and concerns in the city of Sanford, it's clear with our data showing that we have done a good job with maintaining the crime within our community.
While population has been increasing.
That too. Mm-hmm. The next thing looks at the number of calls for service. Generally, if we look at from 2021 to 2025, those numbers again kind of fluctuate. Last year we did 126,000 calls for service. And considering the size of our community, the number of officers that we have, I think we've done a really good job considering that we did do a 10% decrease in crime based on the prior year's calls for service and events.
So depending on the year, sometimes it can be up to a third that are canceled?
Yes.
Wow.
Depending on what's going on, the circumstances are just a little bit, it really depends on what's happening. I have to say that, one of the big things for us has been working with our community and getting in the community and being actively engaged with the community. So it kind of helps us see how things are taking place. Again, one of the big things that people ask about is speeding and citations. We actually had a decrease in the number of citations that we wrote last year, even though we wrote 13,000 of those. So we saw a decrease in that, and in many ways that's kind of good and kind of bad, but it's good in the fact that we've had an opportunity to see that there has been some decrease in traffic citations. One of the things I was just talking to you about is our community outreach. As you can see, when we do our walk and talks, 175% increase. Business contacts, we're getting out and working and talking to our businesses about making sure that you are the first line of defense and making sure that your business is safe. making sure that they have conversations with those individuals, getting our officers out of their vehicles, spending time in the community as well. And what we've seen over 2024 is a 16% increase in our community outreach.
Is the one negative number there because some of those have been moved into actual categories versus other?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's a good thing.
Again, just a quick snapshot of some of the things that we do on a weekly basis, whether it's me having dinner with people in different locations, to us doing a number of our coffees, Coffee with a Cop. Our activity trailer is out and about all over the city as much as we can possibly get out there. A number of community events, and then also making sure that we have an opportunity to take care of ourselves and educate the community on the things that are out there. One of the things that has been important for us is working with Cindy to make sure that we have the funds available by looking at different grants that are out there. We've got the Burns grant, which was $117,000, but that $117,000 is divided between each of the cities, so we get an equal quarter of that or percentage of that, and we utilize those for different things inside of the department. As I spoke to before, we had a sub-grant that helped pay for the overtime, which again helps the city not have to take on those things, but allow us to go into the community and work. One of the things that we ran into is because of the continuous shutdown in the federal government, we have a number of grants that are in the process that we are still waiting for them to be completed. So as we get grants, we will continue to apply for them, and we'll have to wait for the federal government to do what the federal government does. Some of the other highlights, 6,000 hours of training was put into place, 265 training classes attended. One of those, or a number of those, dealt with internal de-escalation, making sure that our officers are prepared to deal with issues and circumstances, and looking at the leadership method, and also doing de-escalation through tactical training. And one of the big things was active assailant, because we've seen across our country the number of events that have taken place where we've had active shooters who were engaged in illegal activity. Our goals for 2026, many of them are quite similar to what we did for 2025. The one goal that I will tell you that, again, the second one that looks at, the first one, looking at the statistical data with regards to the reduction in crime. One of the things that we have started to look into is the NIBRS FIBER, which is a National Incident Crime Reporting System. Okay.
You got it.
A lot of acronyms. So NIBRS is national, FIBERS is for Florida, and what that does is it's going to skew the numbers with regards to how we were normally reporting. Generally, we would do it under the UCI, which is the Uniform Reporting Information. NIBRS is going to be a little different. NIBRS is going to require us to put more emphasis on different things and how the reporting system is going to look. So our numbers for, in the past where we've seen a number of decrease, it may show that there's going to be an increase based on how the reporting system. It's not just us. The national is being done for every agency across the nation, and FIBERS, which is Florida, again, that's going to affect all of the agencies here in Florida. Again, looking at a number of our goals, we're kind of repeating some of those because some of the ones that we did not meet, we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to address those. Again, looking at DUIs, making sure that we go out and continue to make sure that our roadways, our bicyclists, people who are walking in the crosswalks are safe. Making sure that we get, hopefully this year, have the ability to host a car seat event here in the city instead of waiting for it to come up. Our flock cameras are up and running. We're going to apply again for making purchases on the USC grant, have the tower out, and essentially just recouping a lot of the things that we had previously done this year, and making sure that we have the opportunity to continue to expand what we do in the community, keeping those lines of communications open, looking at how we continue to, foster those better relationships with those in our community on a daily basis, and working with each of you in your districts so that we have an opportunity to resolve any issues and concerns that are out there in your areas as well. And then, it's always going to be an opportunity for us to focus on our people, because that's making sure that they are are healthy, that they have the things that are important for them, gives us the opportunity to ensure that we have a good, solid workforce going forward. I think there was a video link that we wanted to show you. This was one of our PIOs.
Yeah, the audio wasn't working.
Possible, things that we put together. Did it click?
You mean April Fools?
April Fools? Yeah. We want to make the fire department feel good about themselves for a minute.
At the Sanford Police Department, we're committed to evolving with the needs of our community. That's why we're excited to announce a new initiative, cross-training all SOAR personnel with our friends at the Sanford Fire Department.
Nice. Button right here. Go ahead and sit down.
You're ready, you're gonna open it up, lean forward a little bit, hand off the bail. Show you some of our tools. Just one button on. All right, and these are the spreaders. Same thing, just a power button. Working with. Not bad. Lacking. Subpar.
Handcuffs, make sure you have them in the right orientation. Most important, donuts.
Okay.
Laugh at yourself in order to make sure that you're doing what's good. So that's our presentation. If you have any questions.
Any questions?
Good presentation, Chief. I like all the numbers. I know that the department is doing everything possible to protect what you can protect when it comes to the flock cameras.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think about places like the UK where they have so many cameras and they have very few guns and they don't need, they do well there. I mean, I think we've got a good balance between protecting data, protecting citizens.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Wait, do you have a question? Yeah.
Sorry.
Was Hernandez's promotion based on that?
Well, he's, again, the majority of the things that you see on our social media, we do in-house, and he has been a huge part of making sure that our PIO program has been very successful.
He does a great job.
He does a great job.
Other than our pictures.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just waiting for one more to show up.
He messed up our pictures, that's all.
We can always take them again. And he has the ability to, make sure that your mustache and beard looks better. So he
yeah,
can do
now
that
we have
for
the
you.
props I need.
Trying to
Yeah,
grow one.
put some hair.
We can do that, sir.
Okay.
Local mitigation strategy.
All right, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, Ms. Hansen is going to talk about local mitigation and the community rating system for the National Flood Insurance Program.
Ms. Heinzen?
What?
He was just testing you.
This is our annual update. So most of you have seen, I changed up the slides, made them different this year, but it's the same general annual update except for a couple at the end, which tells you what we actually did this year. So thank you for the time to allow me to give you this update so we can maintain our CRS rating. I'm going to go as quickly as I can, so not to keep you. All right, so this is our annual update. Chris is going to get me my clicker. All right, so this is our annual update. We cover local mitigation strategy, progress report, the community rating system, and the National Flood Insurance Program. So floodplain management is a community-based effort to prevent or reduce the risk of flooding, creating a more resilient community. It can be managed through various strategies, including zoning, building codes, enforcement, education, and other tasks. The National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, provides insurance to help reduce the socioeconomic impacts of floods.
Regulations and standards are established for participation, and while FEMA has minimum floodplain management standards for communities participating in NFIP, adopting higher standards leads to safer, stronger, and more resilient communities. So the local mitigation strategy, LMS. An LMS plan identifies natural hazards that may affect an area: river flooding, lake flooding, stream flooding, flash flooding. Plans assess risks and vulnerabilities and seek strategies to limit losses to both life and property. In 2000, the federal government required all communities nationally to develop a plan for local mitigation. So the local mitigation strategy, the city entered into the LMS floodplain management plan with Seminole County and 7 other county municipalities to comply with the mandate and to reduce loss. A local mitigation strategy, floodplain management plan, was adopted on December 14, 2015. City-specific goals and strategies can be found in the Municipal Annex E of the LMS. NFIP Community Rating System. The city also participates in the Community Rating System. The CRS program provides reduced insurance rates to communities that exceed the minimum required NFIP standards in actions that will reduce and avoid flood damage to insured properties, to insurable properties, strengthen and support the insurance aspects of the NFIP, and foster comprehensive floodplain management. So the Community Rating System is a voluntary program. Provides for reduced flood insurance premiums for policyholders with insurable property within flood zones located within CRS communities. The CRS recognizes 19 creditable activities organized under 4 categories of public information, mapping and regulation, flood damage reduction, and warning and response. So the city of Sanford joined the CRS on October 1, 2016 with a rating class of 7. This rating provides city residents with a discount of 15% off NFIP insurance rates. There's 5% reduction for every level below a level 10. To maintain this rating, the city is required to meet certain specific credible activities as described in the previous slide. One of these activities includes providing the City Commission with an annual progress report, implementation on the accredited plan, which is why we are here today.
Glad we can help.
How much is that worth?
It's just a check mark on the list of things. Other credited CRC, okay, it's CRS, not CRC, but other credited activities are conducting outreach and providing floodplain protection materials in the library and other community centers, maintaining, managing, and documenting elevation and other flood-related certificates, maintain repetitive loss property lists, maintaining historic flood hazard boundary maps, firm maps, and other flood insurance studies, maintaining and updating links to the city's website to educate on floods and protection, enforce floodplain management in zoning and building codes, enforce regulations related to stormwater, erosion, sediment control, and water quality, preserving open space in the city's designated floodplain areas, and providing notices to the governing board, local media, and registered contractors. Okay, so goal number 1. This is specifics of the 2026 update. We are to engage in risk-based mitigation planning to reduce risks to life and property from flooding. So the LMS participation, objective 1.1, participate in local mitigation strategy meetings. Sanford does participate in quarterly LMS meetings and special sessions. City representatives include fire, public works, parks and grounds, and planning and engineering. We contributed to the 5-year LMS update plan and included floodplain management revisions. We continue submitting priority projects and monitoring funding opportunities. Outreach and education, objective 1.2. We coordinate outreach with the county and other local agencies. So provide ongoing public outreach through utility billing inserts. We maintain placards at city key public facilities, including Sanford City Hall, Westside Community Center, Seminole County Public Library, the North Branch, Historic Sanford Welcome Center, and the Jeff Triplett Community Center. We're looking to expand outreach by adding placard content to the Sanford Connects app. We're maintaining and updating this floodplain webpage with resources and links. We use CitizenServe to offer flood zone determinations and flood-related permit applications, and explore additional outreach programs in the coming years to reach a broader audience. Goal number 2, enforce proper building and stormwater practices. So, building codes and training. Objective 2.1, continue training and review of the building codes. Sanford enforces the latest Florida building code and higher floodplain standards. All building permits are routed through planning for SI and SD review. That's substantial improvement and substantial damage. Floodplain manager, the administrator, also our planning engineer and our city engineer is our certified floodplain manager, provides assessment for new homes and maintains tracking tools. The annual mailings to the HVAC and gas propane vendors reinforce code requirements. We just sent those out. It was several hundred letters. And then Ordinance 4613 updated the floodplain management ordinance. And then we have also recently updated Schedules O and N. So, stormwater maintenance. Objective 2.2, maintain streets, storm drains, culverts, and stormwater pond inlets and outfalls. The Stormwater Division provides comprehensive drainage system maintenance. I've been advised that streets are swept every 3 weeks to reduce pollutants entering Lake Monroe, and major rainfall events are used to evaluate our system performance and identify improvement needed areas. So, Objective 2.2, capital projects. The major stormwater capital projects that were completed. 1, the Georgetown Drainage and Roadway Improvement Project, Phase 1, added a new 54-inch trunk line to Lake Monroe, improved drainage in Pump Branch and Mellonville basins, and reduced repetitive loss flooding. Mellonville Avenue to Washington Avenue Drainage Project installed upsized storm pipes and extended improvements to 20th Street, constructed new wet detention pond on Washington Avenue, and addressed roadway and residential flooding, including a repetitive loss property. So, the city recognizes that reducing flooding and other natural hazards is essential to protecting the quality of life for residents, property owners, and businesses. City staff work to collaborate to maintain Sanford's participation in the NFIP and the community rating system, while also serving as an active member in the Seminole County Local Mitigation Strategy. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, repetitive loss, does that happen? It happens less now from what you're saying.
Right. So we continually make improvements to try to assist those properties that we have seen repetitive losses to.
Are there more than 2, or does that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and can we get better in the 7?
Probably not without additional staffing. I mean, you've seen all the things
Okay.
that are on that list, and right now that's managed with the existing planning staff
Yeah.
that we have.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was hundreds of letters that go out to the HVAC people every year. We have to make sure that the placards are up to date. They're in the local places. We have the certificates for elevation and all of those that have to be maintained with every permit. There's certain other criteria. In order to go up another, there's more criteria you have to meet.
And you need more staffing. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Eileen.
That would be it.
Good job.
Okay, next. Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have with us Cindy Lindsay, and she will do both the September and the December financial reports.
Show me the money.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. You have before you, and I did put them on your desk because the actual financial portion is missing from your agenda. September of 2025 and December of 2025. I will not go over September unless anybody has any questions on that, since it is now historical. All right. So December, just to let you know, and you do know from your Saturday meeting that last year ended with a 2.8 million loss in general fund. Just FYI, but I already gave you that information for your Saturday meeting. So the 3 months ended December 2025, December 31st, 2025, for the first quarter of fiscal year 2026 is your financial report for 2026, your first one. And on page 3 is the general fund. There's no real significant, or nothing really actually, that stands out. And I'll open up if you have any questions on general fund. Seeing none.
All right.
Oh, is there a question?
No, go on.
Oh. Move on to the pensions. Well, let's do Mayfair first. Mayfair is on page 14. And currently it does have a $476,000 loss. That's still partially from the building wrapped up for this year of the clubhouse. As far as operational, they had a loss two of $22,000 for the 3 months.
How much?
22,000.
And that's presumably because they couldn't operate because there wasn't a clubhouse.
They do have a gain now, but as of the 3 months,
They better.
And then the marina is on page 15, and that for the 3 months ending December 31st has a gain of about $6,000 operationally. They do have a loss again overall due to some repairs that are happening at the marina as well for capital needs. And then on page 17 are the pension funds. You can see from 2024 to 2025, there has been some improvement, quite a bit. Police had a loss of $950,000 at December 2024, and they have a gain of $662,000 as of December 2025. And fire had a loss of $704,000 as of December 2024, and a gain of about $4,000 December 2025, and that's all market adjustments. And that's the financials for the first quarter of 2026. Are there any questions?
Anything stand out to you, Cindy?
Not currently, no.
Okay.
Now, you did have a question about doing a dollar bill, and I wanted to go over that with you if you wanted to real quick for the property tax. Chris, could you put up the one?
Yeah, because I know we sent our data to the Florida League, and it's now available through their map, so people can now click on our city and see all of this. But I
just wanted to go over, these are the two graphs that are in our budget for general fund. And this shows all our revenue and the percentage in each category. And then the bottom one shows all the expenditures by department in each category. And then I wanted to go over the possibility of doing a dollar. If you can go to public safety, Chris. Go over to the right. I'm going to look at the dollar amounts first. Oops. Can you, here, do you need me to show the dollars are hidden in the columns? Oh, you got it. Thank you. Okay. So, in reality, property tax revenue doesn't cover a certain expense in the general fund. It covers all expenditures in the general fund. We don't say, okay, this property tax revenue is dedicated to police. This property tax revenue is dedicated to fire.
Right.
So if we wanted to do a dollar bill and showing where it goes, we had two ways of showing it, two completely different ways. Stay with the numbers if you would, Chris. So what I did is I took the expenses by each division, I deducted the direct revenue that they bring in, and then I allocated all the rest of the revenue by percentages to the expenditures and the taxes. And this shows you how the property tax, which is the right column, is allocated to each division. So if you go over to the left, you can see what that looks like on a dollar.
So police, for example, 41% goes to police.
Of the property. No, yeah, I believe so, 41. Go over to the left to see the actual dollar, Chris. Oh, no, go to all departments, I'm sorry, to see the dollar. Yeah. So you go at the bottom. Oh, can you increase the wording? There you go. So this is how it would look if you did it by division. You can do 22.5 cents goes to support fire. 41 cents of each tax dollar supports law enforcement. 3.9 cents of each tax dollar supports transportation, and 32.7% supports all other city services. You could do it that way.
Okay.
You could also go to the public safety. You go to public safety, and you say, this is what your property tax dollar can do. And if you just want to say it all goes to police and fire, this is what it would look like. Now, it doesn't cover all of police and fire expenditures. They still have to use other revenue besides property tax. But if you're just talking about property tax, this is what your dollar would look like. You can scroll up a little bit. Yeah. So I wanted to get your opinions on if you still wanted to do the dollar, if you just wanted to do the graphs that are in the budget that show everything.
I like the dollar example because David Johnson uses it, and that's what I asked Norton.
Yeah, and
you know, why can't we get something like that?
Florida League has all cities trying to do this.
I think it breaks it down a little bit better than the tons of numbers to the right. I think the first example is probably a little bit better. I don't want to necessarily
all of our property taxes
focus
goes
on
to that.
public safety.
Yeah.
I want it to be articulated, not that I can do it, how a dollar bill breaks down via the city government.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
strictly
that
for
would be the
property
all
taxes,
department one.
not for all of our funding. We just, we need the public to know that if we lose all property tax income, this is what's gonna happen. This is what this $1 of your property taxes covers.
Can
and
we
what
go
you're
to
gonna
the other
lose.
image? Go back to it. No, the other dollar image.
The public safety, all departments.
That's the one you're saying, right, Commissioner Austin?
Yes.
I think I like that
Yeah.
better because it shows, like you
Yes.
said.
And this is just property taxes,
Correct.
because that's all we're talking about is the potential loss of this
Yeah.
part of our revenue.
Well, and did you look at the one I made?
Yeah, the one you
It
did
got
was
really
sort of like the
busy.
graph with everything on
Yeah, it
it.
got really busy.
Yeah, and it's more than just property tax, so you really, I don't think
Well, that's
that
my
we could do a
problem with the
dollar.
pie chart. I know number crunchers love that, but I'm not sure it paints the picture quite like the dollar bill might.
Yeah, I tried the same thing with the dollar bill being all of our all of our taxes, not just property taxes.
Okay.
It got a little too busy though. But then I broke it down into, I had every department, and so there were tiny little
That-
slivers.
Yeah.
Everybody's
rather than
grouped
just
into
all the other city services.
32.6 except for transportation and police and fire, because that's sort of what the county did, was transportation, police and fire. I could break down the 32.6 more if you would like.
I think
But,
parks-
or just leave it like that.
I would maybe add parks
Parks is the, well,
and
debt service is the next
utilities?
biggest, but after that is Parks and Rec, I think. So maybe, but utilities doesn't come out of taxes.
That's true, that's true.
Yeah, these are the departments on the right.
Yeah.
It's development services, finance, fire, HR, police, streets, public works, and recreation. And then non-departmental is like for our debt and stuff.
What's the, is that our percentages on the? Yeah, what's the percentage for, Parks and Rec? Yeah, almost 12%. I think that might be worth
Oh, yeah. Oh,
calling
no.
out.
See, and
And 21% is the rest of the department.
Yeah, because
Okay. So just
and-
recreation by its, out of the group?
I had already asked our new Jerry, I think his name's Matt, for numbers on what we spend on the parks every year in total. Because just myself, I have a fear of the discussion down the line of how many of our, is it 17 parks? 28. How many of our 28 parks are we gonna have to close, possibly sell, to save funds in the future? And so, because we cannot cut back on public safety. We cannot cut back on the services we provide, but unfortunately, we can cut back on our amenities. And so our parks are one of our major amenities, and I believe the number, and I just got it this afternoon, Matt, was it $46,000? Just for landscape maintenance? I don't know as if over the years, we've painted a well enough picture of what our dollars are going toward. And that's what I'm looking us to do a better job of. Paint the picture of where the tax dollars are going, because we're taking a beating currently on the great increase in tax revenue we've had over the last few years.
Yeah.
But I don't believe people understand how that money's being used and where it's being placed.
Finding a way to simplify that so
Yes.
they get the picture.
Okay.
Mayor,
Let's
Commissioners.
go with the dollar with more, divisions, including Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Mayor and
Make it-
Commissioners, we're
Make
in the
it colorful,
process,
like this one from the league.
we're in the process of putting signs at
I
the
don't like
parks
the colorful
saying that the
What about
park is
those colors?
maintained by property tax.
Okay, I like that.
My staff actually, we used to have a plain black and white. I meant to bring that up with me. That this is the one that was emailed to y'all that I use for Citizens Academy. I used to have a plain black and white one. My staff made it colored. I went,
You didn't like the colors? We could use different colors.
but they
At least so
loved
we
it.
can
so-
delineate that these are
Well,
different.
some people
Although-
are colorblind.
Actually, you did that by separating those pieces of the
Right.
dollar. That does work.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks,
Okay.
Cindy, that's
But-
good work.
All right?
Y'all want it colored too? We can color it. If you want it colored.
Can you show it either way?
Yeah, keep it the way it is, but separate, like you have, it's separated,
Oh, yeah, I
so
like
it's
that.
clear.
You like the color?
No, I don't like that.
You
Yeah,
don't
these
like
are
the
bad colors.
Yeah.
That's from FLC.
Don't listen to Art.
That's our data though.
Right, but I think breaking down the.
He's a
Right.
math
Well, that's what
professor, he doesn't like
I put 11
color.
different colors on my dollar, so.
Dude,
Not really confusing.
ooh, let's use that one.
No.
I'll make her
Okay,
crazy.
even when I said it, this is horrible, but maybe you can fix it.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
And you did.
Well, thank you.
So we're gonna make a big
Thank you.
6-foot by 10-foot placard to stick in
Don't
the,
spend a lot of
About
money
that
on it,
size
though.
that I have back there.
Yeah, right.
is-
yeah. That's good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, members of the commission, what we indicated is that the staff is in the process of putting up signs at the park saying this park is maintained by property tax.
Great idea. Great idea.
Okay. Any regular meeting items?
Not that we have.
Briefing items?
On the city manager's comment, the commission had discussed painting the commission chambers, and there's been some discussions about that, even some selection of a color. And I just wanted to let the commission know we were moving forward with that. I know Commissioner Thomas has been involved with that, and even to the point of you wanted to color some of the wall.
Some
You know,
sample.
a swatch only goes so far, and I think if we just took some section that people aren't really looking at that much and put this off-white color on there, and I still have the swatch right here, then, we were talking to Brent about that, that maybe we need it in more than one place, Brent, because the lighting is different between the back wall and up here. Right over my head?
Well, and if you painted behind pictures,
Yeah.
you could cover, until we decide what to do, you cover it back up with a picture, and then nobody knows you did that.
What a great idea, you're so smart. Okay,
I
so
have
that's
it.
the action. Behind one of the pictures, the lighting's probably the same on the sides
But
here.
the pictures change frequently.
Well, it's not gonna stay.
So you're looking
And
Yeah,
just-
but for a meeting or two, when people come in, it's like, why is there
why is
odd
that?
colors
odd
thing
color?
painted
I think it's
there?
gonna be too bright, and the light is gonna shine off my head and Norton's head, and YouTube viewers are gonna complain.
We'll put a little placard next to the swatch that we paint and say, this is what it's going to look like, so.
Okay.
And you only want one
No
color?
laughing.
You just wanna test out one color?
Yeah.
That's
Test
that
out,
color that,
test out the one color that we chose, which
Cotton.
is this.
Wasn't it cotton?
You are correct.
You slap that on the wall right now.
See,
This is
I
cotton.
do pay attention to your drivel, your emails.
Okay. All right. Thank you for,
It's gonna
So
be
you
better
want-
than what we have.
A
They're heading back.
portion of the wall in the back painted or on the sides?
you need,
I don't think there's a big difference between here and the sides.
and the back wall doesn't really matter
Yeah,
what it, right?
yeah, I
So
think
you just
we
need it on the side
need
where
it
it's
on,
lit.
I
On
think
the
it's gonna be
side.
too white.
this color. What do you think, class? Too white? I think it's too white. Too white? Go a
Now
little,
that's a professional.
it's a professional opinion there.
It's very hospital-esque.
Ooh,
There
we
we
don't want
go.
that.
There
So
we
we
go.
want a little darker, whitish, warmer.
Sorry.
I agree with you. I mean, that's kind of, one of the examples that I was looking at was a little warmer. Okay, so we'll find a warmer color, team.
Okay,
Team, Mr.
you're in charge.
Public Arts. All right, well, look.
All right. Anything else? Nope. All right. Since we have a little bit of time, and since we're doing some tree mitigation budgeting tonight, I wanted to ask about replacing trees. And what is, and apparently, I'm not sure, the response I got back was, there's not a specific policy that when we remove a tree, we have a replacement tree. Is that correct? I'm looking at Robert and Brent.
Talking private property or
No,
talking city?
right away. That has come up recently. And, I mean, I just thought, you know, when you take down a tree, you put a tree back up, but apparently we don't do that. So,
We buy trees and put them
Well,
somewhere.
I do, I mean, I can't speak for utilities, but public works, but you do hear quite often, they do not prefer aggressive, large canopy trees in the right of way because of the damage it does to infrastructure.
okay.
I do know that.
Like those poor trees that we took out on 46, well, that's not our road, but across from the golf
Well,
course.
Mayor,
But, I mean,
We've had these
can you
dis-
plant a tree somewhere else? Maybe you
Well,
don't
we've-
put it right there, but
we've
you
had
put a
these
tree somewhere else.
discussions, and the types of tree are the problem. And number one, and number two, what maintenance is it gonna require us to do over the years? You know, a lot of cities use those crepe myrtles. They are requiring maintenance every year. I don't know as if that's the direction we wanna go. So I think it comes down to type of tree, placement, and where do we have, where do we have space to do it?
I agree. That all needs to be in there.
And so the site that I keep hounding about, let's go plant some trees out there.
Which site?
Site, what is it, site 10, 12, I don't know,
Site 10.
17,
We may not want-
23,
we may
I don't
not
know what.
plant trees there.
It's going to get used.
But do we plant more trees in our parks? I mean, do we use up usable space in our parks? Where do we put them? In the middle of the ball field?
Do we still do the tree giveaways? But we started making people go to a class to get one, didn't we? Is that what the
No,
difference is?
we do not do it anymore. It's done through the county and the,
No, we do it,
no,
you
we
go
don't.
do a class at Lowe's or something.
No, we don't do it anymore. It's a sore subject with me.
Uh-oh.
Right, Nikki?
Robert Bell, Operations Manager. So in the past, we have been partnering with Seminole County. We do a class that helps for people to be able to win a tree or a butterfly garden. This year, we're not partnering with them, so we're just doing a draw. So you come to Lowe's this year, you'll draw tickets, they'll go into a bucket, we'll pull them, and then those people that get it will be entered to win a tree.
How many trees?
125. And then 25 butterfly gardens, and then Lowe's is donating a grill, and then low-flow toilets.
Okay.
How is it that Castleberry's still able to give out free trees and we're not?
Well, we do give out free trees, it's just,
Not through, okay. How is it that Castleberry's able to give away free trees without a lottery system and we're not?
we have done it in the past. What we found is we bought, 200 or 300 trees. People show up, they will get trees, they will be picky about trees, and then we sometimes end up with a surplus. And then we spend several weeks of staff time trying to give away the trees. So that's why we had limited to what we gave out.
So thinking outside the box, Mr. Mayor, that's a great time for us to plant some trees to replace what we have taken down.
If you have a place to plant them.
Right. So your job is to
Find a
figure
place to
out
plant 'em.
place to plant them. I know, the last time we actually did it, we had red maples, and what was the other one?
Well, so over the years, we've done different varieties of trees.
We had
2
two
years
different
ago, we
varieties
did
that
fruit trees. Last year, we did large specimen trees.
The last time we actually did a tree giveaway, this city,
Last year.
not the partner stuff that I do not like, that I've complained about you for years. The last time we actually did one was red maple and one other one, right?
Yeah, probably live oaks.
But they were invasive, and they get rather large. I think that's an,
Oaks aren't invasive.
okay.
But yes, they get very large. That's what I wanted, was a live oak.
Well, can we get the mayor a live oak?
I got one.
Oh,
I had one in the front yard and one in the backyard.
hallelujah. But
And then I
anyway,
moved, so, but the trees are still there. But no, I mean, I think our goal should be, when we cut down a tree, it's replaced somewhere in the city. Shouldn't it? Do you all agree with that?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So can we work on how
Want
that,
some
what that
tababuyas.
looks like? And
I love them. Yeah?
Different varieties.
We never had those when I was there.
I love them.
Yeah, but did you kill it like you killed that plant at Home Depot? Okay.
thank you. All right. Commissioner Wiggins, anything?
I have nothing, sir.
Commissioner Austin, anything?
I'll save it for tonight.
Ditto.
Okay.
'Cause I have to go home and feed the dogs.
Oh, gosh. Those
Okay.
poor dogs.
Then we're adjourned.
Okay, Commissioner, just a reminder that the Citizens Academy graduation is tonight, so there will
Yes.
be a number of people here.
Okay. Good to
That's
know.
why I did my hair.
I noticed that. Looks good.